James Comey, didn't you say, oh, we can't let Trump win? We just can't let Trump win because he's going to go in and try and do this, that, and the other. Oh, yeah, he's going to go in and he's going to find it all. And that's freaking you out. Well, it should. You also kind of, James Comey, seem to have a little bit of an ego. You know, I don't think you like my friend Dan Bongino very much, probably because he used to go after you on his podcast. And then recently put it all out there when he spoke to my former colleague Maria Bartiromo. And he said, you're a weak guy. And he doesn't like weak people. James Comey got really upset about that, went on to CNN and started mouthing off, trying to diss Dan. One, because he's insulted, and two, why? Oh, because maybe he doesn't like this investigation that's going on. First over to Dan, talking about what a weak you-know-what. He spares us the language because he's like, oh, we're on TV, right? That Comey really is.
I don't even understand why. Why did they do that? I mean, why put the FBI and its reputation at risk? What, it was just to win an election? Why?
Because they're weak. Because they're weak. I hate weak people. I can't stand it. They didn't have, we're on TV, so I already said BS once, but they didn't have the guts, the courage, or the character to do the right thing. They did the easy thing. Donald Trump became a convenient political football. They thought they could leverage. They thought they thought with the media on their side that they'd get away with it.
But they didn't. Eventually they didn't. And now the chickens are coming home to roost, and you know James Comey is mad. He doesn't like being called weak, especially by a guy who's a former podcaster. Forget the fact that he worked at Secret Service. He's just a podcaster, right? James Comey wishes he was a podcaster. Why the heck else is he all over CNN and everywhere trying to get his moment of fame at MSNBC? I mean, seriously, why? Comey, like, you get a zillion other things to do. Oh, wait, he's selling books. Isn't that it? He's selling books. Here's James Comey getting a little testy about Dan Bongino, the podcaster, now at the FBI.
It's a little confusing to me, honestly. I'm sure it's a huge adjustment to go from being a podcaster to being the deputy director of the FBI, but I don't understand this tweet. First of all, I assume that the investigation of the pipe bomb that was found on January 6th was never closed. The FBI never closes such a thing, so I guess it means they're going to focus on it more. And as to the other things, I thought the Supreme Court marshal had investigated the leak of the opinion, the draft opinion. I don't know what the FBI's role is there. Cocaine at the White House, I thought the Secret Service investigated that, so I don't follow it and understand it. I also don't understand who the audience is for this tweet. The FBI often calls for public assistance or in matters of great public concern will announce an investigation to reassure the public. This seems much more narrowly targeted, maybe to a former podcast audience.
That's potentially what's going on. I want to get your also reaction to an exchange the new FBI Director Kash Patel had with Democratic Senator Patty Murray during a recent congressional hearing. Listen to this.
Director Patel, where is the FY 2026 budget request for the FBI?
It's being worked on, ma'am.
Have you reviewed it? Have you approved it?
Not yet.
When will we get it?
As soon as I can get it from my interagency partners and get it approved.
That is insufficient and deeply disturbing. No response?
I've given my response.
Are you concerned that the FBI will still be able to fulfill all of its important duties with Director Kash Patel leading the Bureau?
I hope so. That I cringe at that clip. Actually,
I like cringe because
when will
it's
we
just
get
such a, darn it, it's such a setup, right? Like Wolf Blitzer, like it's as though James Comey wrote the question, right? It's as though the left wrote the question. I mean, wasn't it annoying? And they try to pretend they're news. Okay, so are you worried at all, James Comey? And he's like, oh, of course I am.
Are you concerned that the FBI will still be able to fulfill all of its important duties with Director Kash Patel leading the Bureau?
I hope so. That I cringe at that clip. I actually feel kind of sorry for the guy. It's like showing up for a final exam with no pencils and no paper, and you didn't even know there was a final exam. And so I hope the career people are able to support the director and the deputy director. There are lots of people in the FBI who know what they're doing. I hope these two guys are letting them guide them.
You think they know what they're doing?
The career people know what they're doing.
No. The career people know what they're doing, but the new director and the deputy director.
Nothing in their life or their career gives me confidence that they know anything about leading an organization like that. And so I would have serious doubts. I bet they do internally about whether they have doubts. Great. Let the people who know what they're doing give you advice and listen to them.
Yeah, because, Bongino is just that little podcaster. They used to work in Secret Service, or, hey, Cash, he's just that guy that likes to get out there as a flamethrower. I mean, forget the fact that he was leading the investigation, right? Remember leading the investigation into Russiagate. Oh, gosh darn it, I guess he was leading the investigation into you, James Comey. That's why you don't like him, right? Oh, I see. I see how this works. No kidding. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You're right, piece of my mind. Such a performance from Comey. He missed his calling. He should have been an actor. Comey was a bad lawyer, Jonathan Mason writes. A bad FBI director, and in general, pitiful. Yeah, pitiful. Pitiful, pitiful, pitiful. I mean, he was bad for everybody, right? He was bad for Hillary Clinton, right? He was bad for Donald Trump going back to 2016 because, he could have gone after Clinton and he chose not to because of the election and because she was the Democrat nominee. But then once he realized that Trump was winning the whole thing, what did he do? He put into place a whole little honeypot operation. We had George Papadopoulos on the show recently. He talked about how he had been spied on multiple times on different campaigns, 3 times in all. James Comey was very proud of this operation. Oh, he got, by the way, General Flynn too, and he was proud of the way he did it. I've played you the soundbite on stage with one of the MSNBC anchors, if you can call them that. Personalities. Oh, she doesn't have much personality. That Nicole, I always forget her name. Nicole something on at 4:00. Anyway, with the long hair parted in the middle. And he said to her he was pretty happy with, how they ran that whole operation on Flynn because Flynn didn't know any better. They just sent a bunch of agents over, asked him a few questions, and Flynn, trying to do the right thing, answered the questions, didn't get a lawyer. Ha, 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 ha. Oh, yeah, Comey, you're brilliant. You're just brilliant. I really don't know what this guy is up to or what his purpose is, but I'll tell you, he doesn't like Bongino. He really, really doesn't like Bongino. One single bit.
I don't even understand why. Why did they do that? I mean, why put the FBI and its reputation at risk? What, it was just to win an election? Why?
Because they're weak. Because they're weak. I hate weak people. I can't stand it.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the entire reason that Comey is out on TV flipping out. I mean, he doesn't like the idea that they're going back into the investigation into the illicit substances found at the Biden White House, which just happened to be found around the time that Hunter Biden was visiting the Biden White House. I mean, 1 + 1 is 2, right? I mean, that thing goes away mysteriously. They investigate it for 10 days and suddenly you don't hear about it anymore. And Bongino's like, okay, I think we need to know the truth here. I think we need to know the truth about whatever's going on with the pipe bomb thing, and then we need to know the truth about the Dobbs leak. How is it that that information was leaked about the Supreme Court? That was a very deliberate leak. And so some of the things that were being leaked, it's like the FBI didn't want to take that opportunity to follow up on any of it. And this new team is like, yeah, we're gonna follow up. You know what else he said? There's lots of evidence that's going to be coming out. Lots of evidence that's going to be coming out, video evidence perhaps, about the Epstein case. I'm going to get to that in a second. But one more ding, shall we say, for Comey that came out this morning on Fox and Friends. His old employer there, he's back on the couch, Dan Bongino, dinging Comey, as only Dan can.
Of Jim Comey, because he cannot control himself and his emotions. He is a child. He is a big child. And let me tell you one more thing. Look at Jim Comey, who wants you to believe. Jim Comey taking a shot at the president. Oh, look at me. I'm such a victim. The president's going after me. He's making a ton of money on this book. The only person that got prosecuted was the president. Jim Comey, we're finding stuff even now. Wait till you read the stuff that's coming out.
Does he still have loyalists in the building? Because when I hear the FBI director saying, you guys are finding boxes that are hidden. Okay, how does that happen in the Bureau?
Well, we were there a couple of weeks, and luckily there were a lot of people up there who grabbed us by the arm the minute we came in and said, thank you for being here. You know, we need to talk. there are people there who are really horrified at what happened. And there was a room, and we found stuff, a lot of stuff.
A hidden room.
I wouldn't call it hidden, but hidden from us at least, and not mentioned to us. And then we found stuff in there, and a lot of it's from the Comey era, and we are working our damnedest right now to declassify. And just so you know, because I get the public, I totally understand people saying, well, do it now. The process is not all the information is ours to declassify. Some is other intelligence agencies. It's not, we literally can't do it. Once that gets done and that gets out there and you read some of the stuff we found that, by the way, was not processed through the normal procedure, digitizing it, putting in FBI records. We found it in bags hiding under Jim Comey's FBI. Quickly, you're going to be stunned.
The shells on the beach. Can you not talk to social?
Wow. There was a room full of stuff that didn't actually go through the proper process, didn't get digitized. What was going on? Apparently there was some video, it was kind of morbid, of Epstein as well. Wait, I thought all the video cameras were shut down. Hello? What about that story? Didn't they say that all the video cameras were shut down? And now Dan Bongino is telling us something kind of different here. You guys have to hear this. This is important. Dan Bongino coming out today saying that there's something suspicious, right, about the whole Epstein thing. And now he believes that Epstein did kill himself. He does believe that. He came out the other day, he said that with my friend Maria. And everybody's like, well, wait a second, Dan, because like you didn't believe that before. Some people are suggesting that, maybe he did, but maybe it was for reasons we don't entirely even understand. And now he's saying there's all this evidence that didn't get properly digitized on Comey's watch. And now there's this other stuff that they found about Epstein. I got to play you this clip. Okay, this is kind of weird.
Those two cases obviously are of significant public interest. I'm just telling you what we see in the file. I just want to be crystal clear on this. I am not asking anyone to believe me. I'm telling you what's there and what isn't. Right. There is nothing in the file at this point on the Epstein case, and there's going to be a disclosure on this coming shortly. We are working through there is video. That is something the public does not.
There's video of him killing himself.
No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay. It was only one camera. There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release. That's what's taken a while on this. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced. And we're going to give the original, so you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him. Right. There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing. If you have it, I'm happy to see it. There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it. So
Whoa. Okay. So why haven't we heard about this before? Really? Like, why is it taking to now? Because I actually think, and I hate to say this, but my own view on this, guys, is that unfortunately, a lot of this will be covered up because it may implicate U.S. intelligence. That if in fact U.S. intelligence knew exactly what this guy was doing, and how could they not have known? They were in on the act. And so that would be kind of, hugely demoralizing, right, for the United States to know that somehow we were A-okaying this operation along with perhaps some other intelligence agencies around the country because we needed the goods on Tom, Dick, and Harry. Take your pick. That's perhaps one of the reasons. But the fact that he's now saying there's video that's going to come out, I'm all ears. I want to play for you some sound from a guy named Patrick Betts-David. You may or may not know him. He has a podcast also on YouTube. And he has kind of an interesting theory. He thinks that Trump may be sitting on some of this evidence until a later point in time, maybe possibly when he needs it. I don't know if that's the case. I tend to take what Dan is saying at face value only because I've known him long enough and he's a pretty straight shooter, and I don't see why entirely he'd want to get up there and lie unless this is just framed in such a way that makes it so convoluted and even difficult for FBI investigators, those that have seen the file, to get to the bottom of what was really going on. If you believe my theory, which is that, maybe we knew and maybe we deliberately looked the other way, and maybe we continue to do that because we don't want to get implicated in any of this. But let me show you what Patrick Betts-David is saying.
You have two of the biggest supporters of not believing what happened with Epstein. You want us now to believe it? You want us now to believe that the people that were trying to take out Trump, nothing happened there? There's a part of me that believes Trump is behind all of this, not in the way that you think about it. There's a part of me that thinks Trump's behind all of this because Trump wants to use this as a leverage of negotiating against the enemy. So think about it this way. What if they had proof on what happened with Crooks? Should you drop it now, or do you need to hang on to that for the next 4 years to have control and authority? What happens if you hang on to that?
You're saying he's playing his cards close to the vest.
All I'm
he
saying
knows
is
something, and he's doing misdirection.
So that's his theory, right? Maybe you hang on to this. I mean, the problem is, you hang on to it if it's not going to continue in terms of its investigation process. If they're just, wham bam slamming the case shut, saying, well, he did this to himself, then I'm not sure where that takes you and how you reopen after the fact. I do think it's all very, very, very weird and a little disappointing, right? Let's just say I think it's a little bit disappointing. We did hear from Caroline Leavitt the other day, actually, who interestingly seemed to echo what I think we all think, which is that there's more there, and he didn't seem to believe, the president that is, didn't seem to entirely believe what he was being told. So one of the reporters, I believe she was from the Daily Caller, said, hey, to Caroline, the president in his interview with Brett Baier seemed to indicate that he did not believe what Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were saying about the Epstein files. Do you agree with this? And or does he still feel that way? And she said, well, you just answered your own question with your question because the president said that himself. So again, lots of sort of theories and speculations out there, but I will tell you this. I don't think Comey has any use for Dan. I don't think Dan has any use for Comey. And I do hope that we get at least some decent stuff out there and exposed. I got a lot of faith in Tulsi. I'm impressed with what she's doing thus far. And there's definitely more to come.